And so hello, everybody. We're here Friday, October 31st, 2025 for Council Subcommittee for Board, Commission, and Committee Appointment Nominations. We're going to go ahead and start off with our one agenda item, which is Board, Committee, and Commissioner interviews. We have interviews for applicants for positions of Building and Housing Appeals Board, Historic Preservation Commission, Museum and Cultural Arts Commission, Measure P, and is my mic on? Measure P and S Oversight Committee, Neighborhood and Community Improvement Program, NCIP Committee, Parks and Recreation Commission, and Planning Commission. But before we start, we'll go ahead and take public comment. So for those that are in the chamber that wish to speak on public comment, you can identify yourself by coming up to the mic. If anybody is on Zoom, you can use the raise hand function. Any takers for public comment?
Well, we're waiting in case anyone else joins. Would you like me to take roll? Sorry.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I apologize. Yes. I know I'm not really, it's out of my.
We didn't have our normal proceedings. So this for the subcommittee, Mayor Williamson
Here.
and Vice Mayor Garcia.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum.
Awesome. Try not to get too distracted today because staff is walking by with their Halloween costumes and it's pretty exciting. So happy Halloween, by the way, everybody. Maybe I scared somebody. So I'm not seeing any takers on Zoom.
Correct.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and close general public comment. And I think we have our first interviewee here. And if you're good with it, we might as well just get going. And that way it might give us a little bit of time. Good, Bill. How are you?
Hi, Bill. Bill Witkowski.
Very nice to meet you.
I caught in at Monterey High School traffic. Thought I was going to be late.
No, you are here. Okay, well, I'll start us off here. Good morning and welcome. Thank you for being here today and for your interest in serving the community through one of the City of Monterey's boards, commissions, or committees. My name is Tyler Williamson and I'm joined by our Vice Mayor Gino Garcia. We truly appreciate your time and thought you've put into applying and your willingness to contribute to the civic life of Monterey. This is a public meeting and we'll be conducting brief interviews with each applicant. Each interview will last about 15 minutes and we have 6 questions we'd like to ask. To help us stay on schedule and make sure we cover everything, we'd appreciate if you could keep your responses succinct and focused. With that, let's go ahead and get started. So I'll pass it to Councilmember Garcia for the first question.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
And you're our first one, so we're gonna kind of maybe fumble around here a little bit as we
No
kind of.
problem. Oh, and these are the questions?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yeah, no, thank you. And before we jump in, I also wanted to give a quick thank you to all our candidates who'll be interviewing, including yourself. Thank you so much. And also to staff for putting together all the materials in preparation for these interviews. So thank you so much. I think I'll start with the first question that's on the list here, but more focus on really why do you think you should be selected to serve on the committee?
I've lived in Monterey for 41 years. I was a community development director for almost 25 years, and I've been on the Museum and Cultural Arts Commission for some time. I was offered previous positions to be on the Planning Commission and Architectural Review, but those were the staff people I hired, and I thought that wouldn't be so appropriate. I love Monterey. I love the cultural and history of Monterey, and I think I have a good background knowledge of what the Museum and Cultural Arts Commission does, and I think I can add history because of my long-term relationship with the city.
Great, thank you so much.
All right, I'll jump in with the next question. Can you share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? I keep forgetting my mic. I apologize. Can you share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? What did you learn from it, and how might that experience shape your approach if selected?
Sure. I think one important one was joining Old Monterey Foundation. It's a nonprofit group that's heavily involved with keeping the culture and history of Monterey. It was spearheaded by Bill McCrone on the Lower Presidio, and Bill recruited me to become on, and I've been a member there for 10 years, and I'm the current president. We did substantial improvements to the Lower Presidio. The city at that time, it was not on their radar, and we were able to get funds from the NIP and Community Foundation. And that, to me, that is a great park because it's in between two neighborhoods, Old Town and New Monterey. Plus, it just speaks to the history. It's one of the most historic sites in California. So I started as a volunteer under Bill McCrone's guidance. I became president, and we're looking at projects to enhance the downtown. And I think we do a very good job of it.
And I can continue with the next question here. In having served already, I'm curious what has stood out to you in the discussions that have come up on that board?
We're probably one of the few commissions that does not get public input. There are very few people that attend us, but I think what stands out to me is the commitment of the commissioners. They really committed to the cultural and history of Monterey. I know we're short-staffed, and we have a very good staff person in Brian Edwards, but I think it's the commission. Not only they bring a lot of knowledge and foresight into it, but they also offer to volunteer. I think Brian just sent out a notice about volunteering at Ed Ricketts Lab next week in conjunction with Steinbeck Days. So we have a very good commission.
Thank you.
Each board or commission has a regular meeting schedule. Does your schedule allow you to commit to attending these meetings consistently?
Yes, I've been doing it for, I don't know how many years I've been on, 12 or 15, but I have rarely missed any meetings. And so, yes, I've attended them and I enjoy them. They're fairly short because of the lack of public input, but I can easily attend them.
So in terms of maybe any items that have come up in the past with varying viewpoints, can you share how you approach collaborating and that respectful discussion when opinions differ?
Yeah, I've done that a lot more as a community development director back around 15 years ago. We don't have that many dissident residents. I think there's always this, the commission wants to do more and more, and we're very limited with the staff. So we have very good discussions with Brian on what we would like to do and how, and we offer ourselves to volunteer because we know of the lack of staff. But really, we haven't had many discussions where people are arguing one side or the other.
Okay.
But I have a lot of experience in that when I was a department head.
Okay. And then the last question, what unique perspective, skills, or experience do you think you would bring to the committee? What would you hope to accomplish during your term if appointed?
Well, I'm really very close to the 3 museums that the city has. My office was on the bottom floor of Colton Hall, so I could hear the 4th graders coming up for their field trips, bouncing around upstairs. So I'm very familiar with Colton Hall. I and the city manager, Fred Muir, acquired Ed Ricketts Lab on Cannery Row. We bought it from the members, and we set up a role where the members of the former club could still use it on an occasional basis. But I think that was tremendous that the city restored that. And as I've said before, my involvement, excuse me, with the Old Monterey Foundation has led me to a greater appreciation of the Presidio Museum. So, what would I see? I would love to see Colton Hall get into the 21st century, not with high tech stuff or whatever, but the exhibits are very tired and stayed up there. It doesn't really reflect the importance of the building as a schoolhouse and other factors. So I do think it would be important to really enhance Colton Hall. I think the commission and the staff agree. It just takes the time and effort to do that. I would also like to see more improvements done to Lower Presidio to recognize the indigenous people where they had a long history of being there, and just to bring more life and vitality to that. Again, I think it's a place where locals go, place where a lot of retired military come and see the Presidio Museum, and just where it's located, just so important for those neighborhoods and for the long-term history. So those two. We're also working on ADA access to Ed Ricketts' lab, and to restore that, to show the front of the building would reflect Ed Ricketts when he lived there and his lab work there, and the back would keep it as it is where the jazz festival was founded. So I would love to have those three museums. I would also love to have the music series restart, and Brian's already doing that.
This isn't in here, but you have some time left, and if there was anything else that you wanted to add before we concluded.
Again, I have a long history with the city of Monterey. I know when I was hired by John Dunn in 1984, I said, I'm really committed to the city. I love this city. I'm going to be a big part of the city. Again, I'm president of the Old Monterey Foundation. I'm on the Museums Commission. I've been on the Friends of the Library involved for the last 10 or 15 years, both volunteering and giving money. So I'm really committed to the city. I think our Museum Commission can do better things that would help the residents as well as the tourists continue to come to Monterey. And that's it.
Bill, thank you.
Okay.
Did you want to close us out?
Yeah, sure. So, thank you again for your time and your interest in serving the city of Monterey. And we truly appreciate the effort you've made to be here and your willingness to contribute to our community. Staff will be following up with you after we complete all the interviews. And our plan is to announce the appointment and selection at the November 18th City Council meeting. So thank you again.
Okay. Thank you for all the things you do for the city. And good luck with the budget.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Hey, hi, how are you?
Are you Kelly perchance? Are you ready to go? Yeah, we can just roll right into it. Thanks for showing up early here too.
I'm wearing a giant coat because I am dressed for Halloween, and
I
that would be
love it.
appropriate.
I love it. It's a pleasure.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah.
you. Good to meet you.
We might be able to save some time since you heard the intro.
I did.
So we could just jump into the questions if you're good with it.
Yeah, sounds good.
You want me to start?
Go ahead.
Okay, so 1 second. Let me just make sure I'm orienting myself here. So you're applying for Parks and Rec Commission.
Yes.
Alrighty. So how did you first hear about this volunteer opportunity, and why do you think you should be chosen to serve on this committee?
I attended a city council meeting just as a member of the public back in July, I want to say. And there was a lot of concern that there weren't going to be enough people to fill the city council. And I just was thinking to myself that I wanted other opportunities to get more involved. And this seemed like something that was in need. And this was something I was qualified for. So I wanted to throw my hat in the ring and see if I could be of use. be of service. And I think that I would do well on this commission just because I have previous experience with outdoor programs, with recreation programs, conservation programs. And I'm currently living and working. This is basically the halfway point between walking from my house to where I work. So, I mean, it's all kind of very close by in Monterey. So I think I'd be a decent candidate for this.
Well, thank you.
Can you please share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? What did you learn from it? How might that experience shape your approach if selected?
Sure. When I first moved here, I started volunteering with the Habitat for Humanity out in Marina. And I was working at their restore, and I was just seeing the wealth of generosity of this community. People are really dedicated to working through things in this community and making things better for each other. And that really struck me. It made me want to be more involved overall. And then I ended up doing work study at Gathering for Women, and then just kind of stayed there. I still work there. So it's been very insightful, I would say, enlightening to see that.
Thank you.
Have you ever attended any of the meetings for the Parks and Rec Commission?
I have not. I wasn't able to see when they were being held because I think they were on hold for a little while after I learned about them. And so then I wasn't able to get into there, but I have been seeing some of the literature that's come out about it. So I've been reading some of the reports and things of that nature, some of the previous minutes.
What aspects of the committee's work interest you most?
I really like the work that they're doing as far as the outdoor spaces and what is that called? The just community engagement with the outdoor spaces. I think that's something that I would like to see them do more of, and being able to just host more, whether it's trainings or like workshops or things like more field trips for maybe children during the summer months when they're not in school, if they could be doing activities in the parks and recreations spaces. I think that would be a really good way to engage the community in ways that maybe are not being fully utilized in this moment.
Love it. Thank you, Bert.
I'd actually like to follow up on that, on your response. I'm seeing in your application here, and thank you for the detail in terms of your participation in Ministerio de Ambiente y Energía, not Peace Corps, Big Sur Land Trust and the Monterey Forest Conservancy. So from those experiences, how do you think you can bring what you've gathered there to also support the community engagement that you mentioned?
Absolutely. Well, specifically, the Big Sur Land Trust project was really interesting. We did a survey that was essentially trying to gauge community interest in what would effectively be like a summer camp for adults. And there was a lot of community interest in that. At the time, Big Sur Land Trust wasn't able to implement any of those things. They've started to do some of those programs now, but I think there's probably definitely room for that to be implemented here in Monterey, especially given the wealth of community parks that we have, and just opportunities that we would have, especially if it's obviously community members, but during the summer, we also have tourists. If anyone's trying to do something similar to that, it would bring a lot of interest, it seems, especially from that survey that we did. It seems like there was interest to do some things in that vein, I would say. So things like, even if it's just as simple as a beach cleanup day, or getting the Audubon Society together, something like that, to just lead those little workshops or little demonstrations that could be happening throughout with more regularity, I would say.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
Do you want me to go to the next? So each board or commission has a regular meeting schedule. Does your schedule allow you to commit to attending these meetings consistently?
Yes, I believe this one is Thursday nights. If that changes, then I will be able to figure out how to make it work. But I believe this one.
It's like second Wednesday of each month at 5:30.
Okay, Wednesday nights. Yeah, Wednesday nights also works.
That's me. These boards and commissions often bring together residents with different viewpoints. Can you share how you approach collaboration and respectful discussion when opinions differ?
Sure. I think sometimes if there's a disagreement, especially if it's like a heated disagreement, it's usually something on the surface level that is belying something deeper. And so I like to just take a moment to figure out what that deeper motivation is and then figure out where we can collaborate and where those viewpoints overlap and then move in that direction.
Can you share with us, please, what unique perspectives, skills, experiences you think you would bring to this committee, and what would you hope to accomplish during your term if appointed?
Yeah. Well, you saw my resume. I've done some stuff with the Big Sur Land Trust here in the Del Monte Forest Conservancy. Really, the experience with Minaisinac in Costa Rica was really impactful for me. Obviously, I don't think Monterey needs a bunch of workshops on venomous snakes, but I do think that there's certain elements of that are transferable skills, things like being able to plan these workshops and execute them, public speaking, those kinds of skills that I think would be beneficial and be able to help bring more of that to these public areas. Because, you know, the parks are one of the last places that the whole community can use pretty much whenever they want to. And so that's one of those things that really brings people together, and it's kind of where that community is born. And I think that's really important as we're moving forward as a community to be able to cultivate those spaces.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for your time and for your interest in serving in the city of Monterey. We truly appreciate the effort you've made to be here and your willingness to contribute to our community. City staff will be following up with you after we complete all the interviews. Our plan is to announce the appointment and selections at the November 18th City Council meeting. So thank you again, and we wish you all the best.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
Great. Bye.
Bar?
I can't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
We'll just take a Monterey 10. Yeah, up next we have Eric Palmer at 9:15. So he has 16 minutes. Efficiency. Oh, I didn't think about that. I don't see why not. We have 15 minutes. So, Gabe, do you want to go? Is it?
Yeah, it's hard to hear. We aren't hearing.
Oh. We're gonna know what to do with ourselves here soon.
Gentlemen.
Good morning. It's good to see you.
This guy lost his fuzzy.
Yeah, it came without it.
See the power dynamic here. Share lower.
It wasn't intentional, I promise. Should we do the intro? I don't think you heard the intro before, so maybe we'll do the intro. You want to take us off there?
Sure.
Well, good morning again, Gabe. Let me down the volume thing. This is a public meeting and we'll be conducting brief interviews with each applicant. Is the sound better back there? Can you hear? No?
Just get closer to the mics.
I could hear everything, but I don't know.
All right. How about that? Is that better? All right. So each interview will last about 15 minutes and we have 6 questions we'd like to ask. To help us stay on schedule and make sure we cover everything, we'd appreciate it if you could keep your responses succinct and focused. So I'll just jump into the first question here. Can you share a little bit with us? Why do you think you should be chosen to serve on the committee?
I'm very committed to planning for very sustainable and inclusive Monterey for decades, and if we're lucky, centuries to come. I've been working on affordable and workforce housing development here since I moved back after graduate school, and been keeping close track of the city's evolution in toward more inclusive housing, zoning, and just the general kind of policy approach that we've taken to accommodate the needs of the 21st century, including population, a kind of stagnant housing supply. The Planning Commission is one of the few bodies in Monterey that has influence over those policies besides the city council. So this seems like a great opportunity to bring my expertise to bear, as well as the vision that I share with the city council most of the time, and help kind of critically analyze ways to move forward, not just around housing, but around general community development for an inclusive Monterey.
Can you share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? What did you learn from it, and how might that experience shape your approach if selected?
I guess if we're counting experience on the ARC and Parks and Recreation Commission, the experiences I've had, especially on the ARC, have really helped me understand the city's role in taking a very impartial view on the applications of folks for permission to move forward with projects from the public, and understanding our responsibility to be as objective as possible. Even when the rules sometimes feel like they're too strict, they exist for a reason. That being said, sometimes we have the discretion to make a decision that makes life easier for everybody and actually does improve the outcome for the city. So understanding that nuance, I think, from that volunteer experience as an ARC commissioner was really valuable. It comes up every once in a while on that commission, but I'm also I guess volunteering. I'm also on the board for Habitat for Humanity, secretary of that board, and working through all of their pro formas, working through their fundraising, it's become abundantly clear to me that the resources for the kinds of housing we need are limited, and that cities have a large role to play in terms of making it easier for nonprofits such as Habitat for Humanity to make opportunities possible for those homeowners. So whatever we can do, I understand that side of the equation is what I'm telling you. And that's from a volunteer experience. I've spent the last 2 years on that board. So I understand the private sector role, the private sector's role, nonprofits' role, as well as the city's role in making these solutions possible to make a more affordable and inclusive Monterey.
Have you attended any of the meetings for Planning Commission?
Yes.
And what stood out to you about their discussions and the way they operate?
I think it's really valuable that they have a breadth of perspective. There are folks that were born before me who are on that board, or most of the people who are on the city council as well. And I am looking for progress. However, there's always room to keep things that do work and perspectives that do work. And of course, there's history to be preserved and good practices to be preserved. What I really admire about Planning Commission today, even if it is changing, even if some of those members are leaving, is that there have been people who are open to hearing each other's perspectives. Even if they disagree, they can acknowledge each other's perspectives, good arguments, and even if it's not a unanimous decision, come to a solution for proposals brought to them. I think most recently allowing for the SB9 changes to come to the city council, despite all the controversy. I think that was a really a great demonstration of a deliberative body's ability to acknowledge dissent and move forward something that is ultimately going to benefit the city. So that's the most recent experience I can account for.
Each board or commission has a regular meeting schedule. Does your schedule allow you to commit to attending these meetings consistently? The planning commission is the second and fourth Tuesday of each month at 4 and 7.
At 4 and 7.
And this is kind of just, there's a note here that says, when planning commission takes on ARC duties, meetings may run longer into the evening.
Got it. Yes, I do know that I'm on the MPUSD Board of Trustees, and those meetings are often on Tuesdays, usually closer to the middle of the month, it appears. In general, I will say yes. There may be meetings that I have to duck out of depending on the agenda and the length of the meeting potentially. So I will do everything in my power to attend as many meetings as I can, understanding that this is a priority for me, but also understanding that the MPUSD board has its needs for full gathering of its members.
So you touched on this a little bit, but if you would elaborate, so on these boards and commissions, they often bring together residents with different viewpoints.
Mhm.
So can you share how you approach collaboration and respectful discussion with opinions when they differ?
Well, I've been in this room for city council meetings, planning commission meetings on this side. I've spoken at the, public comment. I've been up there for some contentious meetings as well for ARC. Listen to people who get very emotional, and understandably so, about the project they've brought forth, and sometimes the months or years they've been waiting for a hearing, and those people need to be heard. And I think an important aspect of your elected positions and these appointed positions is being able to listen and make people not just listen, but make people actually feel heard. It doesn't mean every person's idea is a good idea. It doesn't mean every person's opinion is correct. But as long as they feel heard, this is the city government. And we have enough speech here. We have to respect that. As long as folks are respectful of the environment, as long as it is focused, as long as the conversations are focused on the subject matter at hand, there's every reason for a person to feel included and heard. But my general perspective, if there's an opinion that is relevant to the subject at hand, I will ask questions. I want to make sure that if somebody has a point that is not being acknowledged by the discussion, by the agenda report, that we ask the right questions of staff, that we ask the right questions of each other to make sure that things get fleshed out. So in asking those questions and having those critical discussions, that's how you make the public feel heard. That's how you make your fellow commissioners feel heard. Because otherwise, I could see discussions sort of devolving into more emotional focus than substantive focus. So I'd like to keep it focused on substance while everybody can feel heard and acknowledged.
I think the last question is, to me, what unique perspectives, skills, or experiences do you think you would bring to this committee? What would you hope to accomplish during your, if appointed? Which I think you kind of already answered, but.
Sure. I mean, as I mentioned, I work in the private sector in housing development. I have a nonprofit of my own that I founded last year for a land acquisition to do workforce housing development or preservation. I'm on Habitat for Humanity's board as their secretary, on the Monterey Commercial Property Owners Association as the vice president, MPUSD's board as a brand new trustee. And this breadth of experience, some longer than others, as well as experience working for the state government, I think brings a well-seasoned and informed perspective, even for someone relatively young as myself. But I think with that youth also comes a vision for a future that is not always easy to understand for older generations. I'll just put it that way. And I want to bring energy and vision to this commission for a more inclusive Monterey. And I've seen what that public policy looks like from a theoretical perspective, but I've also seen it in action with the organizations I work with and work for or volunteer with. Each of them informs the decisions that I make when I'm allocating any resources over which I have control. And if I am in this position as a planning commissioner, then I will do exactly the same thing, understanding the gravity of it, understanding the resources of the city are important and limited, and make sure that we're making inclusive decisions for a more sustainable and economically inclusive Monterey.
Love it. Any other questions? I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay. So thank you so much again for your time and interest in serving your or continuing to serve your city, and congratulations on your recent appointment.
Thank you.
The MPUSD board. So staff will be following up with you after we complete all the interviews, and our plan is to announce the appointments and selections at the November 18th City Council meeting. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, council member. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes, sir. I want to go see these costumes.
I do not see our next interviewee on Zoom, so maybe you could recess for, it's up to you.
Yeah, and then nice. Wait, come in. You have to be seen. You have to be like on camera for this.
Look at that.
We have to. Can we get the camera next to the door so we can see our city manager? Don't go anywhere, Hans. We need to get you on camera. That is great. That's
60s again.
that's official. It's on the record.
I didn't even recognize you.
Say no to Escobar, right?
We're gonna come out. We're gonna take a recess real quick.
Yeah.
Interviews are going.
Oh, he just never mind. We'll try to come out. How long are you guys gonna be out there for?
We'll be out here for a good 30, 40 minutes.
Okay, we'll see how this goes.
Okay.
All right.
So your next interviewee has logged on, and I'm going to promote him to a panelist so we can see him on video. So Eric, if you could accept the panelist invitation, please. Okay, you're now a panelist and you could unmute, and there we go. Here's Eric.
Hi, Eric. Can you hear us okay?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Eric.
Do you want to,
Should I? Yeah.
we can alternate.
So good morning and welcome. Thank you for being here today and for your interest in serving the community through one of the City of Monterey's boards, commissions, and committees. I'm Tyler Williamson, and I'm joined today by Vice Mayor Gino Garcia. We truly appreciate the time and thought you've put into applying and your willingness to contribute to the civic life of Monterey. This is a public meeting and we'll be conducting brief interviews with each applicant. Each interview will last about 15 minutes, and we have 6 questions we'd like to ask. To help us stay on schedule and make sure we cover everything, we'd appreciate it if you keep your responses succinct and focused. With that, let's go ahead and get started.
Good morning, Eric, again. And could you please just share with us, why do you think you should be chosen to serve on this committee?
Well, I'm really excited for the opportunity. For the past 2 years, I've got the privilege of being on the Architectural Review Committee, and I think I've been able to demonstrate that I can weigh staff analysis with community and business concerns and ideas. And I'm really proud of the work that I've done there. And I think the next natural step would be to be on the Planning Commission. It's a role I've always admired. I worked at the city for 15 years, and one of my first jobs prior to that was actually working for AMP, who is doing these meetings, and I was running the meetings for the Planning Commission, both in Monterey and Marina. So have attended hundreds of meetings, and I think through my experience on the ARC, and I'm also on the Housing Advisory committee for the county. Through those experiences, I know that I would make a great commissioner.
Thank you.
Okay, next question. Can you share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? What did you learn from it, and how might that experience shape your approach if selected?
I think volunteer experience, a good example, is being on the ARC and having projects come in where neighbors are concerned, and there's been several examples of people wanting to add additions to their homes to add to our housing supply. But of course, we need to be sensitive to the neighbors and their concerns. And I've really found it fulfilling when we can, as a board, help find a compromise so that neighbors feel that they're listened to, and that a homeowner can achieve, their dream of building their home how they'd like, and at the same time adding to our housing supply and addressing the concerns of neighbors. So I've felt really fulfilled and really proud of our community that a lot of these interactions haven't been contentious, and that we people here in Monterey are, they're really cognizant of how special the character of their neighborhoods are, and the character of the business districts. And I've just found it really fulfilling and great to see how these parties are able to come together to achieve shared goals of maintaining their privacy and maintaining the character of their neighborhood, and at the same time allowing their neighbors to fulfill the projects that they have dreamed of.
Eric, have you ever attended any of the planning commission meetings?
Absolutely. As I mentioned before, right out of college, I worked for AMP, and I was in charge of running the meetings for the Monterey Planning Commission and also the Marina Planning Commission. So I've attended hundreds of meetings, and since I worked at the city of Monterey, I found part-time as well. I found that I really enjoyed reading the agenda packets and following along. And as a resident, I was really interested and in these planning projects, and since I'm a resident as well. So that was a great experience too, at a young age, and it was a great education on the civic process. And then, of course, as a city employee for 15 years, I watched and attended nearly every planning commission meeting and council meeting, so that I can do my job, which was to explain to the residents. I was in the communications office, so I can explain to the residents the significant projects that have been approved and the different ordinances that have been approved. So it's my job to understand what was going on in the planning commission meetings, so that I could explain to residents the impacts.
And as a follow-up, in the more recent meetings that you have attended, is there anything that has stood out to you about any of their discussions or the way that the Planning Commission operates?
I haven't been able to attend recent Planning Commission meetings, mainly due to my obligations on these other bodies, like Architectural Review Committee and the Housing Advisory Committee. So I have not been able to attend recent meetings, though I, of course, follow along in the media and follow along with the summaries that the city gives out from the communications office.
And has there been anything that has stood out to you in their discussions?
Well, I've been really happy to see all the work that's being done on the housing element, And that has been a fascinating process to observe. I think the staff and the commissioners have, were faced with a major challenge, of adding more, a lot more housing. And I think that's a huge challenge. I really appreciate the public engagement because it affects all of us. And I think we, as a community, were able to be really thoughtful about where housing could be. And at the same time, what I really like about the city of Monterey and our public processes is that we take the environment into account. We take our historic character into account. But at the same time, we need to balance environmental stewardship and our historic preservation. We need to balance that with being able to add housing in a thoughtful way that can preserve our small town character, because that's really important. That's why I live here. And I plan on living here for a long time, and I want to preserve what makes Monterey special. And I think the housing element discussions were very much about that. How do we add more housing? How do we preserve our small town character? How do we protect the quality of life of our residents?
Thank you.
So the next question is, each board or commission has a regular meeting scheduled. Does your schedule allow you to commit to attending these meetings consistently? And for the planning commission, they meet the second and fourth Tuesday of each month at 4 and 7. And then there's just an additional note that when the PC takes on the ARC duties, the meetings may run longer into the evening.
Yes, I'm definitely able to do that.
Awesome. Thank you.
So you've also touched on this a little bit, but maybe anything else you might want to add. These boards and commissions often bring together residents with different viewpoints. Can you share how you approach collaboration and respectful discussion when opinions differ?
Yeah, I think I would bring a unique perspective. I think it's good to have working parents on boards. This is something I thought of maybe doing in the future. But again, as I stated, I plan on living here for a long time, and I want my kids to be able to live here and afford to live here. And this is a really special place, and I want to preserve what makes it special. We've had differing viewpoints in the ARC meetings and in the Housing Advisory Committee meetings, and I think we all know that we have a shared goal. We're volunteering because we love Monterey. We're volunteering to be on these on the ARC or the Planning Commission in general, just because we're interested in. We all have a shared interest in protecting what makes Monterey special. So a lot of decisions about land use and things like that, and architecture, we're all about preserving what makes Monterey special. So I think we all share that. We may have different viewpoints about how we go about making those decisions, but at the end of the day, we're able to keep it positive, and we all have different perspectives on how to do things, and we just need to remember that common goal, and respect each other's opinions, and go from there.
Thank you.
Okay, and then the last question is, what unique perspective, skills, or experience do you think you would bring to this committee? What would you hope to accomplish during the term if appointed?
Yeah, I think I have a very unique background. I I've been working in public service for 18 years in communications. So my job has been community engagement. A large part of it is community engagement, and bringing, I worked for the planning office to solicit input on things like the waterfront master plan and the downtown specific plan and things like that. So I've demonstrated through my career the ability to bring people together from residents to different stakeholders like businesses, the business community, to solicit, to give input about planning and how we want our city to move forward on housing and the design standards of different business districts. So I have that unique background, and then of course being able to serve on the Architectural Review Board Committee and the Housing Advisory Committee. I have demonstrated that I'm able to participate and consume complex information and explain it to people in layman's terms, and that's what I do at my job in communications. We're often studying agenda reports and complex decisions made by boards of directors and city councils, and then we're helping share it back with residents about what decisions were made. So I do bring those unique perspectives I think it would be really valuable to have, a working parent that plans on being here for a long time public servant, and a community engagement professional.
I don't have any more questions. Are you good?
Yep, I'm good.
Okay. So thank you so much, Eric, for joining us this morning. And we really appreciate your interest in continuing to serve City of Monterey. And so city staff will be following up with you after we complete all the interviews. So our plan is to announce the appointments and selections at the November 18th City Council meeting. So thank you so much for
Thank you
joining.
very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Eric.
Bye.
Take care.
All right. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. We have a few minutes, but if you want, we can just jump right into
I
it.
feel like if you guys need a break or anything.
No, we probably will take a break after you. So yeah, awesome.
Do I stand here at podium?
You can sit right here.
I know.
It's good to see you.
See you, Mayor.
Yeah,
Williams.
yeah.
Nice to see you.
Okay, so I think you'll kick this one off.
I will.
I'm sorry to butt in, just since I don't know, you're Amanda?
My name's Amanda.
Okay,
Priest. Yes, I
thanks. I'm just keeping track of who is going when. Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
Nice to see you.
9:30 on the dot. Yep. We're good.
We're gonna make it work.
Yep.
So good morning, Amanda, and welcome. And thank you for being here today and for your interest in serving the community through one of the City of Monterey's boards, commissions, or committees. My name is Vice Mayor Gino Garcia, and here with our Mayor Tyler Williamson, and we truly appreciate the time and thought you've put into applying and your willingness to contribute to the civic life of Monterey. This is a public meeting, and we'll be conducting brief interviews with each applicant. Each interview will last about 15 minutes, and we have 6 questions we'd like to ask. To help us stay on schedule and make sure we cover everything, we'd appreciate it if you could keep your responses succinct and focused. So with that,
Yeah.
flip it over to you for the
Yeah.
first question.
So first question, how did you first hear about this volunteer opportunity, and why do you think you should be chosen to serve on this committee?
Yeah, so I've been the alternate for the Glenwood neighborhood already since I had to look it up. November 2020 is when I applied. And we have a really, involved and awesome representative, Lee Whitney. And she is I live in the same apartment complex as her. She's the HOA rep, so she's always around and keeping me up to date on things. But also I get all the updates and things. So I actually was really like, oh, they published my application online. So cool. So I saw that in the boards, commissions, and committees agenda report. So I get all those emails as well. And yeah, it's mostly been NCIP as far as like non-city council boards and things that I've been involved in. And it's just been since 2020. My background, I'm a scientist for California State Parks, and kind of dipping my toes in this whole city government kind of stuff. And it's been really fun, and I've learned so much. And yes, that's how I heard about it. Got an email. Mm-hmm.
Can you share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? What did you learn from it, and how might that experience shape your approach if selected?
Well, yeah, being the alternate there for all the NCIP meetings I've sat in on, and volunteering my time for those. Luckily, they're all in the evening after work. I get off at 5 and then, sometimes come in person. Like that's a good thing about, a lot of our meetings are on Zoom, so that's handy. But yeah, I learned a lot from all the meetings in 2020, and then the current NCIP meetings have been lots of good background information on the history of NCIP, how it engages with city council, all the TOT stuff and all of that. That's, I think, the main one that shapes how I think about how city government is run. That's been my main point of engagement with the city so far.
So what has stood out to you about discussions, NCIP discussions, and or the way that they operate?
Yeah, it's I like how people are pretty collaborative. Everyone's really good about on city council too, taking notes, and then you have your little bit of time to talk and present your ideas, and everyone's very respectful. I do feel like I still don't quite understand, how capital projects getting funded versus like we're kind of doing this. We're paying for capital projects, and how that all works. Again, this is the only commission I've ever been on, so I was like, oh, maybe this is normal. Maybe this is the way it is. And I don't know if other cities maybe don't do this. I have a friend he's like, oh, NCIP in Monterey, that's the coolest. We don't have that in PG, and that's such a cool program. But yeah, that kind of tension between, me, a random, I really like birds and trees and watersheds, but making decisions about capital improvement projects. I always want to, really rely on city staff, and they know the system and what's needed in the budget. So I feel just kind of that little bit of tension maybe between people who have been on the committee for a long time, and this is how it's done, but also times are changing. Things are really different than they were maybe 20 years ago when it was 1985 when NCIP was created, or NIP at the time. And just how that's changed, people being wanting to listen and understand, trying to compromise, and of course everybody coming from a place of trying to improve the city. It's really great. And I guess what stood out is just everybody really is trying to do the best for the city as a whole. No one's really like, oh, my neighborhood needs all this stuff. People are very good about sharing the resource, this TOT tax. That stands out to me as a positive. Yeah.
Okay, each board or commission has a regular meeting schedule. Does your schedule allow you to commit to attending these meetings consistently? And for the NCIP, it's kind of as scheduled, but yeah, it does tend to fall on a Wednesday.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I've been luckily. Yeah, it's all in the evenings, usually 6 o'clock, and I'm able to attend those. And the Zoom option is always really helpful as well, because sometimes I am getting in late from the field or something. But yes, I can commit to that. I think I've only missed one the years I've been on it.
So we'll move on to the next question. So the boards and commissions often bring together residents with different viewpoints. Can you share how you approach collaboration and respectful discussion with opinions that differ?
Yeah, I think I'm really good at recognizing that I have a very limited skill set. My background really is just environmental issues. I think that's what I'm most passionate about. So people who might come with other lived experiences or, just totally different backgrounds, that's always really enlightening. And I try to be very oh, that's interesting. I never thought of that, and wanting to listen and understand where other people's opinions are coming from. And I also don't say this is how it should be for anything that's not related to my background, because I don't know those things, so listening to people with that lived experience, and then again, the subject matter experts, the engineers for the city, and the residents who are bringing the issue, to the committee. And city staff, again, who have that more, they get to spend 40 hours a week working on this issue. They understand it far better than I do. The topics that I don't feel like I have as much understanding of. Again, my background is environmental science, so it's very much, watersheds, forestry stuff, wildlife. I am very, very interested in, alternative transportation, and I do try to walk and bike as much as I can. We're kind of isolated up there in the Glenwood neighborhood, and getting through the NPC campus, and how can we safely get down to the rec trail and to the beach and where people want to go to downtown. So those are kind of my lived experiences. But outside of that, I always want to be like listening and understanding of other people's opinions, and then really try to embrace what the staff are telling me, because again, they get to put so much time into it, and us volunteers, it's maybe just a last minute scramble, read the agenda packet, maybe as a personal thing, but they've really noodled over this for a long time, so I really like to listen to those people before I put a line in the sand.
And then the last question is, what unique perspective, skills, or experience do you think you bring to this committee? What would you hope to accomplish during your term if appointed?
Yeah, I think I maybe already threw those a little bit out in my last answer. That is I'm almost like a one issue voter on environmental things. That's my whole thing. I feel like it doesn't supersede, of course, any of this other stuff. It's almost even a small part, I think, of city management. And the more I get into it, I'm like, I'm not as useful as I thought I could be, because I do just know forests and trees and things. And it's in there. It's a small part. Maybe like Parks and Rec or something would make more sense for me to have big, strong opinions on things. So yeah, I think that is kind of unique. I did the first city academy, and we just did that 9 weeks training. It was super amazing. And everybody in the room, I felt like nobody was like, oh yeah, I also like wildlife, or I also like forests. It was all like all these other things I've never thought about in my whole life. And I was like, oh my gosh, you spent your whole life writing like choral music? That's amazing. But it just, again, that's like so many cool different skills out there. I don't have this one really narrow skill set that I'm like, I want to be helpful and use this for good. So that's maybe the unique perspective that's the one thing I'm really good at, and I might have strong opinions on. Everything else, it's let me hear what you guys have to say, because I'll look at it from a different perspective and try to be practical and logical, and also just kind of looking at what resources are available. I feel like I'm like, there's not an infinite. That's the thing. That was a recurring theme in City Academy, is limited resources. How can we make sure that like the real priorities are like there? And elevated. So listening to staff and trying to appreciate the subject matter experts and taking their opinions almost as being, that's what's going to influence me most. And skills. I don't know. ID. That's not helpful for anyone. I could do that for people if that was something that came up. I am experience-wise, I work full-time. I'm very involved with our local Monterey Audubon Society, so I do a lot of outreach. I lead a lot of field trips. I'm on our conservation committee. And I volunteer at the aquarium, NCIP, things like that. So it's just, I feel like I've got like fingers in every pie, as long as it's environmental pie. So that's kind of the skill set that I bring. I don't know. Happy to answer any other questions, but I bet we just have to stick to this.
Do you have any?
I'm good.
All right. Well, we are really appreciative of you offering to share your skill set.
Thank you.
And continuing to serve the city of Monterey. So thank you so much for the interest, and staff will be following up with you after we complete all the interviews. And our plan is to announce the appointments and selections on the November 18th City Council meeting. So
Awesome.
Thank you so much for being here this morning.
Likewise. Yeah. Thanks for your time. Have a good rest of your morning.
Thank you, man. Pleasure.
Yeah. Bye.
And you are a wonderful asset to the city. So for whatever it's worth, whatever sliver of the pie that you bring to the table, it's
Small
appreciated.
sliver.
No, we appreciate it.
Thank you so
We're all
much.
small slivers. So
Right. It all adds up. It all adds up.
Exactly.
Right. Thanks, you guys.
Appreciate you. All right, let's go ahead and just take a recess. Our next one is at 10, but I want to get out here and try to see some of these costumes from our staff. And so if Diane gets here, let's give ourselves at least 5 minutes, but if she gets here, we can start early. So with that, we'll go ahead and take a recess. Hey, for your interest in serving in the community through one of our City of Monterey's board commissions or committees. I'm Tyler Williamson, and I'm joined today by our Vice Mayor, Gino Garcia. We truly appreciate the time and thought you've put into applying and your willingness to contribute to the civic life of Monterey. This is a public meeting, and I'm just making sure my mic is on. And we'll be conducting brief interviews with each applicant. Each interview will last about 15 minutes, and we have 6 questions we'd like to ask. To help us stay on schedule and make sure we cover everything, we'd appreciate it if you keep your responses succinct and focused. With that, let's go ahead and get started.
Good morning, and
Good
thank you
morning.
for being here. So first question, how did you hear about this volunteer opportunity, and why do you think you should be chosen to serve on this committee?
So I'm an active member of the executive committee of Fisherman's Flats Homeowners and Residents Association. So Tom Raleigh recommended that I be an alternate to Gary Baker. So I'm more than happy to be the alternate for Gary. And I think I'd be a good member because I grew up here from age 2 months to 18 years. And then, so I'm an alumni of Monte Vista, Colton, former Colton, and Monterey High. And then I left for college and then worked at UCLA and then returned here in 2000. And me and my parents we lived on Logan and Martin Street, so next to Monterey High, but we moved to Fisherman's Flats for a bigger home. So then my parents and me started volunteering for the Fisherman's Flats Association by just getting their flyers together and their mailings. And then I got more and more active with Fisherman's Flats since probably 2000 when we moved there. And then became more active in the executive committee, attending meetings and helping out. In the old days, we'd have the annual September party at the park. And so then I helped take that over and host that. So that's always nice. And you've come 2 years ago to our party in the park. So the neighbors come. But now one of our neighbors who initiated the Halloween parade, the Easter egg hunt, and then the Christmas get together at the park has moved away. And so then I thought, okay, then I better step up and do our holiday events. But then I thought the kids really need to be activated to be future leaders. And I am a school nurse, retired. So I approached the kids in the neighborhood, the older ones, and said, I think you should be president and I think you should lead us, and then all of us adults will just support you. And so they have. And so here's an example. They call themselves now the Kids of Fisherman's Flats Holiday Events Committee.
I love
So we have a parade today. We got together a couple of days ago, and the moms are fully supportive and helping the kids be organized. So I'm so blessed to be living with them. So that's kind of it. I believe in the future of Monterey and the world. So activate them.
I love that.
To love their community or sense of community. And so thanks to Natalie Kobza, she built us into a better sense of community with the events she created. And now she comes back and visits and still is a little bit active. So yeah,
It's very
nice.
creative.
Yeah. So cute.
Okay, I will jump to the next one. Can you share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? What did you learn from it, and how might that experience shape your approach if selected? And the questions are here too.
Oh, great. Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. So I guess I started volunteering, of course, as a candy striper at Chomp back in the day. And then for new, nurses, just with the nursing staff, and then kept volunteering. So then at UCLA was part of, I think it was something like Unidos Barrios or something like that. And we would go into the community. I got into Koreatown and volunteer, teaching kids whatever the teacher needed. So to read to me. And then of course got into the school of nursing and was busy with that. But I always felt that I should give back to the community. And then, of course, when I got back here, then there was this great Fisherman's Flats group that got together and thought, well, this is how I build community here. And so they're a really great group of people that want to improve Monterey and the community. So yeah, I'd have to say that's how my trajectory happened.
I love it.
So have you ever attended any of the NCIP meetings?
I just attended the last one we had at the library and then the one before where you had the council meet with NCIP. So I attended both of those and I was glad. I appreciate that everybody has a voice and is listened to respectfully. And even though we disagree on topics, so that's great.
Mhm.
And that's, what we're all about here.
So what stood out to you about their discussions or the way that they operate?
So just the taking turns in the organization. And I think really the big one is the respect of each other, that people feel heard. And that I also like as a leader that sometimes somebody does come in and helps organize the trajectory so we don't go off on tangents and that we're still productive and come out on a decision that's needed. So I value that. So.
Each board or commission has a regular meeting schedule. Does your schedule allow you to commit to attending these meetings consistently? With the NCIP, it's kind of whenever it's scheduled there, but
Yes, I'm retired and my schedule is wide open. So yes, I could easily fit them in.
awesome.
So these boards and commissions often bring together residents with different viewpoints, and you've alluded to this a little bit, but if you would elaborate, can you share how you approach collaboration and respectful discussion when opinions differ?
So my previous history is I'm a psychiatric mental health nurse, master's degree, and child and adolescent psych. So I hope I have strong communication skills where I can be patient and listen to others and help them feel valued for what they believe in. So I would have to say, that. So I would have to say that's a biggie. And that's ones I've gotten feedback on. And I always actually have astounded people as I grew older at UCLA, where I didn't mind conflict. And in psychiatry, you actually value it with your patient because it shows that they're moving forward. So people are always like, wow, okay, you're okay with that. So that's kind of different. But so yes, and in psychiatry, there's lots of conflict. So I do bring and people give me feedback. I bring a calmness to the aura of what's going on, because people would say, oh, you walk in and we think we feel calmer now and that you understand and that you're going to take care of things. So that's feedback I've gotten on my job a lot. So that was good. And I love diversity, and our neighborhood isn't that diverse, but I wish it was more. So I do feel that so I prefer diversity, feel more comfortable with diversity. So that's how come as a school nurse, so happy to be at Seaside High, even though I'm a Toreador. But it was we need this Hispanic, Black, Samoan, white, combination, plus Asian. So I felt much more happy at Seaside High and happier at Natividad Medical Center, where it's just much more diverse. And I love struggling populations that are trying to do the best they can and that we offer them help to do, better. So I'd have to say that. So just being a good listener is the biggie, listening and patience and acceptance.
Okay.
That kind of goes into say.
Yeah. What unique perspective, skills, or experience do you think you would bring to this committee? What would you hope to accomplish during your term if appointed?
So
you did kind of answer this.
Yeah, I did.
But anything you want to add as well, you don't have to limit it to that question. Any last minute thoughts you might have?
No, just want to, and this is a critical time too, right, for NCIP and council. This doesn't happen all the time. So this is a tough time. So a good time to join and see the process on with these groups of people, staff are appointed staff and people, how we solve a big conflict with the budget deficit for next year. So, yeah, I'd be honored to be part of that and to see how it all evolves and see how I grow to be a better person in this kind of discussion for Monterey to move forward.
I don't have any other questions, Steve.
I'm good. Bill. Thank you.
Okay, sounds good. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for being here this morning. We really appreciate you taking the time to be here and your interest in serving the city of Monterey. And so city staff will be following up with you after we complete all the interviews, and our plan is to announce the appointments and selections on the November 18th city council meeting. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much. It's so good to see you. We have a break. The true break. So we're good until 10:30.
Go to the library and check out a book.
Yeah, or check my email. I really would like to eat. That's what I really want to do. I don't know why I'm feeling so, I've been doing pretty good. I usually can like make it without feeling too hangry, but yeah, let's recess. I'm letting everybody.
Under the format here.
He's going to tell you it all
We're
right
all
now.
learning.
Okay.
Good morning and welcome. Are we,
Oh, are we back online? Okay, all right. Yeah, we're good.
okay, cool. Thank you. So good morning and welcome. Thank you for being here today and for your interest in serving the community throughout one of the City of Monterey's boards, commissions, and committees. My name is Gino Garcia, Vice Mayor of the city, and I'm here joined with our Mayor, Tyler Williamson. We truly appreciate the time and thought you've put into applying and your willingness to contribute to the civic life of Monterey. And this is a public meeting and we'll be conducting brief interviews with each applicant. Each interview will last about 15 minutes and we have 6 questions we'd like to ask you. To help us stay on schedule and make sure we cover everything, we'd appreciate it if you could keep your responses succinct and focused. So with that, I'll hand it over to our Mayor.
All right, I'll start with the first question. How did you first hear about this volunteer opportunity and why do you think you should be chosen to serve on this committee? And the questions are here too.
Oh, good. It's nice to know in advance. Okay, I'll ramble just a little bit. I've known about the City of Monterey's Planning Commission for a very long time. I served on this Planning Commission for over 20 years. I have been a volunteer in the City of Monterey for about 28 years. Before that, I was a volunteer, a Planning Commissioner in the City of Pacific Grove and an ARC member in the City of Pacific Grove. So I've known about it for a long time.
All right, I'll go to the next question. Can you please share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? What did you learn from it? And how might that experience shape your approach if selected?
That's interesting. This is kind of like a dating thing almost, these questions. Who wrote these? Anyway, I was, as a volunteer, a member of the City of Monterey's Planning Commission. I was the chair of the general plan before the last one that you adopted. During the same time, the county was going through their 10-year update, which was a nightmare for everybody. And I got to watch that from the outside and realize from the inside what I can do is embrace. And we had fabulous meetings with great public input, and we got our general plan adopted within a year. It was an amazing process. So what I learned from that is embrace everyone. Listen, don't always agree. And you've all seen it. People get up and say, you're not listening to me. Well, that's not really the truth. You're not agreeing with them. But giving people the opportunity to be listened to in the City of Monterey is very important. Do you want me to read the next question?
No, sorry. I was just taking notes. Have you ever attended any of the meetings you have? So the follow-up question to this is, what stood out to you about the discussions or the way they operate?
So I'd like to just take it back. Yes, I've been to a whole bunch of meetings. And I do watch the current meetings and I also watch a lot of the city council meetings. Again, it being a very open meeting where people feel that they are welcome and are heard. The other thing, though, and Planning Commission gets to do this easier than City Council does, is when people get off subject that we can deal with, is to shut down that quickly and bring them back to what it is that we need to be talking about and what is positive. I mean, we've got, and again, you may not be good at asking, we've got 5 really important things that are going on in the city right now with Planning Commission, from the climate action to seawater rise to Laguna Grande to the housing element, our local coastal plan that has to be done right now. I mean, these are really vital. And the big elephant in the room is water. What are we doing with the water? When is it really going to happen? Are we really going to get 141 acre feet? Dave Stoltz says, yeah, next month. When is that going to really happen? This is going to impact the city hugely. What's it going to do to staff? What's it going to do to all of our plans? So there are things that have to be done right now. Am I answering any of the questions?
Yeah.
Let's pretend this is I'm running for office and I don't have to answer questions. Yes, and I can do, oops, sorry, I know. Read the question, then I'll answer it.
That's you, Gina.
We'll go to the next question.
Next question. The commission has a regular meeting schedule.
Right.
I know the schedule and I've done it for a long time. I'm very busy and can do it.
And there's an added note here so that when planning commission takes on ARC duties, these meetings might run a little bit longer into the evening. Does that still work with your schedule?
Yes, it'll be very interesting too with the required streamlining of design guidelines, what that will do to the architectural review. Anyway, it should shorten it up. That's something planning commission is going to be very involved with.
These boards and commissions often bring together residents with different viewpoints. Can you share how you approach collaboration and respectful discussion when opinions differ?
You know, again, we have to listen to everybody. I just ran into Ed Smith outside, and there was, when I was a planning commissioner in Pacific Grove, the mayor at first was Flory Williams. This was before you were born, Tyler, long time ago. And during public comment, at the end of whatever, sometimes people would get up, and my favorite was when Flory said, you know, I don't agree with a thing you said, but I want to thank you for coming in and talking to us. And I really want you to come back and talk to us again. And so it diffused whatever it was. And that's what we all have to do. Everybody is welcome to speak. We are not required to agree. But how you treat somebody when you disagree is what they take away from the meeting. And certainly we all have seen in the city, there are people that are just frustrated because they're not ever heard. That will happen. But welcoming them and letting them know they've heard. I think, again, especially when I was chair of the planning commission, we had people that would come just to talk, and we would be, again, very welcome. And after a while, I'd say, okay, your 3 minutes are up. We're done. But talk to me again about it later. It's important. Everybody needs to be heard.
Love that.
So can you share with us what unique perspectives, skills? I know you have a history with the board and commissions. But anything you'd like to share more specifically, or experiences that you think would bring to this committee, and what would you hope to accomplish during your term if reappointed or appointed?
Well, I'll start the second part of it first. I mentioned the 5 active things going on in the city right now that the planning commission is supposed to be working on. I want to get those done. I want to deal with water as it comes up. I've been whining, if you look at the old tapes, I've been whining about water forever in the city. It's been changed the growth patterns. It's changed everything. It's changed how we have been able to do inclusionary housing, everything else. I want to get those things done specifically. I bring a number of things. My business is headquartered in the city of Monterey. I have a whole lot of employees. I'm very good at leading groups of people. My experience with the planning commission from, again, it was not only as chair, but being able to help do as chair of the general plan, which was not, I was asked by the city council to be the chair of that general plan. I have represented the city of Monterey in public forums back when Ruth Vreeland was on the council. We used to go and make presentations at the Naval Postgraduate School that would be for the students, but talking about what's going on in the city of Monterey, what is going on with seawater rise. We had a number of different things. I think I do a really good job of being able to represent the city in an open and really kind way, but getting things done. One thing, you guys have seen this, I've seen it at Planning Commission ARC, where somebody goes, well, can we get more information? There are times you're not going to get any more information. You've got everything that can be brought to you, and you have to make a decision. I do that very well, and I've been doing it for a long time.
What were the 5 things? So there's climate action plan, housing element, local coastal plan.
Seawater rise and the Laguna Grande park plan, which is the only one of those 4 things that we weren't dealing with when I was last a planning commissioner. Laguna Grande wasn't on our radar at that point. Certainly, there's all sorts of very specific plans that are really interesting going on with housing. Some of it I think, really positive. It'll be interesting to see if we get any traction over at the courthouse. I mean, we've rezoned that. Who's going to cooperate with us? But I know there's some discussion, but some of the new things that the state requires, we've got large projects that are going to be occurring downtown Monterey, specifically over at China Gardens site. That huge, in some ways really exciting, in some ways terrifying that we don't get enough control over it. But these are all the things, again, I'm excited about seeing again.
Yeah.
If I get selected to do this. And feel free if you find other people. Wonderful, wonderful. I've done this, but I also love the city.
I appreciate your willingness to put your name in the hat. Did you have any other questions before we closed out? Okay, thank you very much for your time, for your interest in serving the city of Monterey. We truly appreciate the effort you've made to be here and your willingness to contribute to our community. City staff will be following up with you after we've completed all the interviews. Our plan is to announce the appointment and selections at the November 18th City Council meeting. So thank you again.
Fabulous.
Wishing you all the best.
Nice to see you both.
Thank you. Take care.
I did. Do you have any?
I will.
Our next interviewee would be Deborah Machado, and I don't see her on Zoom, so
Okay.
presumably she'll be arriving or joining Zoom at any moment.
I sure did. You want to change?
You like?
I'm a caramel freak, so. Yeah. Thank you for it. Actually, it was funny because I saw it. I saw you sitting there. I was like, I wonder if he would trade with me. And so I'm glad that you initiated it.
Don't do.
Oh man, I love me some. So yesterday after, check this out. After Ivan had his procedure, we stopped by to get some zab. Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Hi, long time no see.
Good to see you.
Yes, how are you?
Good, good. Thanks for joining us. Well, I'll go ahead and jump right in.
Go
So
ahead.
good morning and welcome. Thank you for being here today, for your interest in serving serving the community through one of the City of Monterey's boards, commissions, or committees. I'm Mayor Williamson, and I'm joined by our Vice Mayor, Gino Garcia. We truly appreciate the time and thought you've put into applying and your willingness to contribute to the civic life of Monterey. This is a public meeting, and we'll be conducting brief interviews with each applicant. Each interview will be at least 15 minutes, and we have 6 questions we'd like to ask. To help us stay on schedule and to make sure we cover everything, we'd appreciate it if you could keep your responses succinct and focused. With that, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay, great. Thank you for waiting. Appreciate that. Shoots away.
No worries.
Good morning, Deborah, and thank you again for being here and joining us this morning. So the first question, how did you first hear about this volunteer opportunity, and why do you think you should be chosen to serve on this committee?
Well, you guys need young blood, and that would be me. I've been in the community 5 years. I've been on the appeals board for the disability. I'm going to say this wrong. Tyler can help me with that. And which isn't a very busy board, I will tell you, the appeals board. Wanted to get more involved with the city, and this was the way to do it. And yeah, there you go.
There it is. All right. With that, I'll go to the second question. Can you share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? What did you learn from it? And how might that experience shape your approach if selected?
You know, I volunteer with, I was with Gateway Center of Monterey for 5 years, and I resigned in April, and now I'm a volunteer, and I work with people with developmental and intellectual disabilities. You have to have compassion and understanding. You have to know how to relate to people. When you're on boards, you're going to have different views, different heightened emotions over subjects. So I think working with developmentally and intellectual adults, even children, allows you to learn how to deal with people. Plus, I'm an HR executive, so that helps.
100%. Thank you for it.
Deborah, have you attended any of the Park and Rec Commission meetings?
I have not, no.
Okay. What aspects of the committee's work then interest you the most?
The care of our parks, the accessibility, I live by one, and wow. That's all I'm going to say without being, I don't know the facts or the reasons or the budgets, so I cannot comment on the care of the parks in Monterey.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Next question is, each board or commission has a regular meeting schedule. Does your schedule allow you to commit to attending these meetings consistently? And for Parks and Rec, they meet the second Wednesday of each month at 5:30 p.m.
That is correct, yes.
Deborah, next question. These boards and commissions often bring together residents with different viewpoints. Can you share how you approach collaboration and respectful discussion when opinions differ?
You know, I have to do that every day in my job as an HR professional. You have to step back, listen. Because like I said, a lot of people come into these meetings with emotion, depending on how invested they are in the situation. So you have to look at that. You never react. You talk respectfully and get the facts before you open your mouth.
Okay, back to me. The last question here is, what unique perspective, skills, or experiences do you think you would bring to this committee? What would you hope to accomplish during your term if appointed?
You know, I hope to learn more about the way the city ticks, about their processes, their policies, their procedures. I don't, I just have a point of view right now by what I read, by what I hear. And I want to know the facts of how the city is ran and why. So that is why I want to be on the committees, and I want to go to various committees throughout the years and meet the citizens of Monterey and hear what they have to say.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
I don't have any more questions. Are you good? Okay. So, Deborah, thank you so much once again for joining us this morning and your interest in serving the city of Monterey. We truly appreciate the effort you've made to be here and your willingness to contribute to our community. City staff will be following up with you after we complete all the interviews, and our plan is to announce the appointments and selections at the November 18th City Council meeting. So thank you so much again and wish you all the best.
Okay, thank you. You gentlemen have a good weekend.
You too.
Bye.
All right, and up next we have George McNeely at 11. So we have another moment of.
Yes, and I'm not sure if she would want to or if you're interested, but I did notice that Ms. Lopez Narvaez, who was actually scheduled to be the last interviewee, is on Zoom currently. So is that something you're interested in?
Yeah. Is that good for you? Yeah.
So Ms. Lopez Narvaez, if you're willing, I'm going to promote you to panelist, and you would be welcome to do your interview right now. And now she has joined as a panelist. So if you could just please unmute yourself, and if possible, turn your camera on, that would be ideal.
Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
My apologies for being early. I was just wanting to know more about those who were also applying.
I don't knock anybody who shows up early. So kudos to you for that. Thanks for being here and actually make our scheduling a little bit easier here. So thank you for being flexible and jumping on with us a little bit sooner.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Well, I will pass it to our vice mayor to kick us off here.
Before we get started, I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Is it Ilsa?
Yeah, it's Ilse.
Ilse, thank you.
Yep.
Ilse, good morning, and thank you for joining us. And also thank you for your interest in serving the community through one of our city's boards, commissions, and committees. My name is Gino Garcia. I'm the vice mayor, and I'm here with Tyler Williamson, our mayor. We truly appreciate the time and thought you've put into applying and your willingness to contribute to the civic life of Monterey. This is a public meeting, and we'll be conducting brief interviews with each applicant. Each interview will last about 15 minutes, and we have 6 questions we'd like to ask. To help us stay on schedule and make sure we cover everything, we'd appreciate it if you could keep your responses succinct and focused. So with that, I'll
send it back to our mayor.
All right. The first question is, how did you first hear about this volunteer opportunity and why did you think you should be chosen to serve on this committee?
Yeah. So I was the former city planner for the city of San Juan Bautista. So aware of the committees and boards that the city has. So as a resident of the city of Monterey, I was interested in getting involved more in the city. I looked up if there were any vacancies. Thankfully, there were vacancies. So here I am wanting to serve the city that I live in now.
Thank you for it.
Next question. Can you share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? What did you learn from it, and how might that experience shape your approach if selected?
Yeah. Sorry for any feedback. I'm in the office today. But I volunteered. It's been a while since I honestly volunteered. It was back in college when I last volunteered. It was for essentially it was a path to college events. It was essentially to help other college students and high school students understand what the process was to, graduate or apply. Through that volunteer experience, I gained a lot of input and feedback from students who were a little bit confused about the process. So it was really good to be a volunteer and help high school students and existing college students navigate through the college experience, especially being a first generation college student myself. I know how hard it is to navigate such a big system, being away from family. So I think I learned a lot through that experience, and I hope to contribute more in volunteering here with the city.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Have you ever attended any of the meetings for the board commissions or committees that you're applying for?
I have not attended, but I've watched the videos.
That counts. What stood out to you about their discussions or the way that they operate?
I think for me, it's a lot of essentially like educational experiences. At least for the boards, we all come from different backgrounds, and what I noticed from the commissions and the boards is that we're all on the board to know more about the city, how it functions, how those decisions are being made, and what stood out to me is that everybody's here to learn also. We may not have all the answers, but being part of the board and commission, it's that opportunity to learn more and ask those questions that need to be asked and represent the community. So I think that's what stood out to me the most, that people are willing to understand and learn and take in what city staff has to say and that experience that they have.
Love it. Thank you for it.
So each board or commission has a regular meeting schedule, and I know that you are applying to several here. So looking at the schedules for the various boards, does your schedule allow you to commit to attending these meetings consistently?
Yes. Yeah, I checked all the hours and the days, and it works.
Beautiful. All right. These boards and commissions often bring together residents with different viewpoints. Can you share how you approach collaboration and respectful discussion when opinions differ?
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
No worries. These boards and commissions often bring together residents with different viewpoints. Can you share how you approach collaboration and respectful discussion when opinions differ?
Yeah. So I like to bring in like my active listening skills, really listen to what people are saying. I think that's really important when it comes to collaboration. Listen before you speak, to really understand what the issue is. I also like to ask follow-up questions, just to make sure that I understand what other people are saying, or that things are being interpreted correctly. And I think that's a really big part of collaboration, making sure that we all have the same understanding of what's being said, and that we all know that we're all well aware of the information to make a appropriate decision together.
Thank you.
What unique perspective, skills, or experiences do you think you would bring to this, to any of the committees? And what would you hope to accomplish during your term if appointed?
Yeah. So I do have a background in city planning. I have served the cities of Oakland, Woodland, Tracy, and San Juan Bautista in the planner role. So I think I bring in those different perspectives, different viewpoints. I also have an education in community and regional development. And I recently got a land use and natural resources certificate from UC Davis. So I think I bring in a lot of foundational and educational perspective, and also lived experiences through my job experience. And through these commissions and boards, I do hope to um, use that skills and insight to help better make better decisions for the city.
Awesome. Well, I think I'm good with questions at this point. So thank you very much for your time and for your interest in serving the city of Monterey. We truly appreciate the effort you made to be here and your willingness to contribute to our community. City staff will follow up with you after we complete all the interviews. Our plan is to announce the appointment and selections at the November 18th City Council meeting. So thanks again and wish you all the best.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Have a great day.
Thanks again for applying.
Yeah, thanks.
I just wanted to add, if you still wanted to watch other applicants, you're welcome to stay on as well. I will remove you as a panelist, but you can stay on watching if you want. No.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks, Clementine. Got a well-oiled machine going over here.
So the next interviewee scheduled is George McNeely, and I don't see him on Zoom yet, but he does still have 5 minutes left.
All right, we'll just jump right in. Who's starting? I don't know. I can do this one. I think you went last. So good morning and welcome. Thank you for being here today, for your interest in serving the community through one of the cities of boards, commissions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mike's.
Thank you. Were we good with you or should I start over again? Okay. So good morning, welcome. Thank you for being here today, for your interest in serving the community through one of the city's boards, commissions, or committees. I'm Mayor Williamson and I'm joined by our Vice Mayor, Gino Garcia. We truly appreciate the time and thought you've put into applying and your willingness to contribute to the civic life of Monterey. This is a public meeting and we'll be conducting brief interviews with each applicant. Each interview will last about 15 minutes. And we have 6 questions we'd like to ask to help us stay on schedule and make sure we cover everything. We'd appreciate if you keep your responses succinct and focused. With that, let's go ahead and get started.
Thank you, George, for being here this morning. And we'll jump to the first question here. How did you first hear about this opportunity and why do you think you should be chosen to serve on this committee, the NCIP?
Oh, thanks, Gino. So I'm fairly involved in my neighborhood, the Del Monte Beach neighborhood, a neighborhood association, and I am an acquaintance of Jamie Fields, and so I believe she's on the NCIP committee right now. And so over the last 3 years in the neighborhood, I've just had good conversations with Jamie about the work that the community improvement program is doing and kind of how it all works and how it connects to the city and all the other neighborhoods. And so that is how I became aware of the neighborhood community improvement program and how it connects with Monterey. And I'm interested in that. How did I think this came up at a neighborhood association meeting, like, oh, they're looking for alternates or somebody to step in. So that's how it happened. So through the community, through my neighborhood. And did you ask why?
It was more about, why do you think you should be chosen to serve?
Oh, okay.
But you kind of touched on that also.
So the why I should be chosen then would be that I feel like I'm a good representative of my neighborhood in terms of maybe some projects that might be needed in terms of public safety or improvement and maintenance. And I would probably be aware of what those things are just because I'm very active in my community and I live there full time.
Dude, I have hiccups. All of this.
Hopefully they won't be contagious.
Yeah, somebody might need to come up and scare me. Scare me here. Oh, there it goes. All right. Question 2. Can you share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? What did you learn from it? And how might that experience shape your approach if selected?
I did some volunteering kind of with my church in Monterey. We went to Pacific Grove. What was the location? But we helped some maintenance. We painted some exterior walls and cleaned up the interior of the community center in Pacific Grove at this time. I felt good about making just maybe small improvements in the environment of a building, let's say where people gather, and that would either not be a distraction to their gathering and purpose, and it would actually might even improve the quality of their life in their community. So I do contribute food to certain homeless shelters, and I feel really good about providing something that I can provide that others don't have. And so kind of giving a little bit makes me feel good and fulfills a purpose that I have. And I think in terms of serving the community of Monterey through this community improvement program, I feel it would be the same kind of thing. Oh, well, maybe an idea I have would lead to a project that would benefit the city and
I apologize. I forgot to tell you, the questions are here as well. So if you reflect on them while we're
okay.
asking.
Oh, that's easy.
George, have you ever attended any of the NCIP meetings?
I have not actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
What aspects of the committee, based on what you've heard about it, would interest you the most?
Well, for example, the intersection at Casa Verde and Del Monte, that's, you know, a really important piece of our lives. And I think, you know, and my understanding is a project like that's been in the works for years. And so I think being at the front end of some of these projects and ideas and thinking them through might lead to some really good outcomes in terms of the project. So the idea is one thing, how that might happen, how it gets funded, kind of the process of building out the operationalizing the ideas, and then working with the city leadership to see it through. I think that's something I'd be interested in. A lot of my career, I've been in medical sales and marketing, and in most corporations I worked in, it's what we call multifaceted, like you're dealing with a lot of different stakeholders, internal stakeholders. And so I've been really good at facilitating those conversations and communicating to hear everyone out and make sure that the best result and best solution is being sought after. So.
Each board or commission has a regular scheduled meeting. Does your schedule allow you to commit to attending these meetings consistently? For the NCIP, it's just as scheduled, excuse me.
Right. So I've just recently kind of entered a semi-retirement phase of my life. So
Congratulations.
thank you. Here I am, fresh out of the corporate world. So the good news is I still have all the skills. I can go to meetings. I know how to, facilitate and be a part of a meeting, how to communicate, all the corporate skills that you would attain over 30 years of doing that. So yeah, could kind of lend that to the NCIP type of a meeting or any type of city interaction, either virtually or in person. And my schedule is flexible to where I could make those meetings now without probably even have to worry about traveling or anything like that. But so I could certainly get on a meeting. If I was traveling, I could jump on a Zoom meeting.
Absolutely. Thank you.
These boards and commissions often bring together residents with different viewpoints.
Mm-hmm.
So can you share with us how you approach collaboration and respectful discussion when opinions differ?
Yeah, no, we get a lot of practice with that these days, I mean, just with the political environment in our country, it's like it really affects more than ever, I guess, our families, our neighborhoods, and how to have different viewpoints and still be able to have a functional conversation. So I try to be as non-judgmental as I can be, and not try to judge someone by maybe some of the words they say or what they look like, or just really try to listen and try to understand the content of who they are and what they're trying to achieve and what they believe, but to be respectful of it for sure, and not to think that my idea or my beliefs would be superior to theirs or anyone else's, but to I think try to really hear that person, hear that side of the story. What am I hearing, and try to reflect that back. And then if there's a difference, is to maybe try to approach that difference in a way that we can both talk about it, and maybe move a little bit, and if we're still going to be have a difference in opinion, maybe there's some common ground that we can agree on and to build on. And I think in a community like Monterey, it's like we really have to do that, and we have a diverse community of political views and every other kind of view. We have that here, different socioeconomic levels and stratifications. People own homes, people rent places, people, so there's a lot of this in our everyday life. And I think for me, I have a lot of sensitivity toward those who either rent or don't have a home, and I can really communicate well with people that do have means and homes. And so we're that's just one example of trying to figure out, well, how can we all live here given the means that we have and the resources that we have. And I do think our political views might land in different solutions, and then say, okay, well, I would really like to focus on the solutions and not maybe such a, politicize it, if you will, but say, what is the best solution for this community and for most people, for all people that live here, So I guess just to sum that up, to be non-judgmental, to listen, to make sure people are heard, and that would be contribute to the solution development.
Okay, I think I have the last question, which is what unique perspective, skills, or experience do you think you would bring to this committee? What would you hope to accomplish during the term if appointed?
So I was in the Army. I was stationed at Fort Ord, so I've been kind of in and out of this community since 1988. So I have a pretty good historical perspective to add, kind of as a veteran as well. So I think that those are two unique things I bring to the committee, as well as having a 30-year career in medical sales. And so I kind of have seen at least corporations, operate and work in a productive way, which could take some lessons from that, and also some things we don't want to do, but certainly some ways, to communicate and get things done. And what I would hope to accomplish is to really identify some really needed projects throughout the city, and be able to fund and support those and complete those projects in a way that either beautifies the city, makes it a safer place to be, and improves the quality of life of citizens in Monterey.
All right. So that was the last question. George, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your time and your interest in not only serving City of Monterey, but our country. So thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
We truly appreciate the effort that you've made to be here and your willingness to contribute to our city. City staff will be following up with you after we complete all the interviews, and our plan is to announce the appointments and selections at the November 18th council meeting. So thank you again, and wish you the best.
Thank you, Tyler. Thank you, Gino. Okay, best of luck to you guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, I'm sure we'll meet again.
Yes, we will. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Take care. Have a good day.
You too.
Gosh. I don't know when the last time was I got hiccups, and I'm like struggling over here. Hey, I thought I saw you walk by.
Hi.
How are you?
Mr. Mayor.
Yes, good to see you. It's good to see you.
Councilmember.
So you're here. So
Fantastic.
we have the questions here. You can follow along.
Oh, okay.
But I'll pass it to Gina to kick us off with this one.
Actually, sure, please.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. Good morning again. Thank you for being here, and for your interest in serving the community through one of the City of Monterey's boards, commissions, and committees. I'm Gino Garcia, Vice Mayor. I'm here with our Mayor, Tyler Williamson, and we truly appreciate the time and thought you've put into applying and your willingness to contribute to the civic life of Monterey. This is a public meeting, and we'll be conducting brief interviews with each applicant. Each interview will last about 15 minutes, and we have 6 questions we'd like to ask. So to help us stay on schedule and make sure we cover everything, we'd appreciate it if you could keep your responses succinct and focused. And with that, I'll pass it to our mayor.
Sure. First question, how did you first hear about this volunteer opportunity? How did you first hear about this volunteer opportunity, and why do you think you should be chosen to serve on this committee?
I think I'd like to open though with, in the interest of full disclosure, the mayor and I have actually had this conversation before a couple of years ago.
Oh, make sure you speak it to the mic.
Yeah, the mayor and I had this conversation a couple of years ago, and it was in private, didn't have the pomp and circumstance of a public meeting, and it went a little something like this. The mayor calls me on the phone and he goes, "Hey, Justin, how are you?" I go, "Oh, it's good to hear from you, Mr. Mayor." He said, "So why do you want to serve on the planning commission?" And my answer was a couple of years ago, "I don't." And so things have changed since then. I mean, I think it's pretty clear that the consensus has moved from the Federal Reserve to the Treasury, federal government, and the state government. That consensus has moved to where your viewpoint on housing is at the fore. So at that point, I was wrong and you were right. And so I think that's why I'm back here now. In finance and financial markets, there's a saying that if you're early, you're wrong. But when it comes to policy and judicial opinions, like the classic dissents, when you're early, you're a hero. That's how it works. So whatever I could do to help. Let me go back to the first question. What was it? How did you first hear? I've served on a couple of committees. I'm currently serving on PNS. I served on the appeals hearing board, so I'm pretty familiar with what openings have been there. I think there's been an application on file for a while, and I think that's why you called me that first time. I wasn't seeking the position, but it was just a dormant sort of application. Why do you think you should be chosen to serve? I'm going to leave that to your discretion. I think it's important for me to find out what the council wants. I don't really have a policy agenda or anything that I'm trying to accomplish. I try to follow the consensus of the groups the aforementioned groups. And when they all come together, it's much easier to put policy forward. And so I think a lot of that depends on you guys. And that's what I'd be interested in. What are you hoping for the Planning Commission to accomplish?
All right, I'll take the next question. Justin, can you share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? What did you learn from it, and how might that experience shape your approach if selected?
The current volunteer experience that I guess I engage in is PNS, AHB, and then I also serve as a hearing officer for the Air Resources District for I guess the region. How has it shaped me? Gosh, how do I answer this question? I think a lot of it stems from a sense of duty. My father's side of the family was sponsored to come here by my grandmother's brother-in-law who served in the Army and fought for the United States, and that's how we got here. And my mother's side, they ran a small banking interest in one of the Chinese provinces, and needless to say, they weren't terribly popular amidst the Cultural Revolution, so they came to Sacramento and started. All of them had to start over. And so there is an immense sense of gratitude that I feel for the country generally. And so I think that's what brings me here. I'm not sure if that fully answers the question, but I'll try. That's why I volunteer. Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever attended any of the meetings for the Planning Commission?
I watched most of them after the fact. Got a couple of young kids at home, 3 and 5, and so meeting times tend to be during dinner time, and so going on.
Then a follow-up to that, what stood out to you about their discussions or the way they operate?
I really liked the last meeting that they just had.
Sorry.
Oh, no worries.
Gone.
Yeah, I really liked the last meeting that they had. It was a clear application of an exception that was available within the rule set, and they helped someone expand their house. I love that idea. So, yeah.
All right. Next question is about scheduling. So as you know, each board and commission has a regular meeting schedule. Does your schedule allow you to commit to attending these meetings consistently? And for the Planning Commission, they meet second, fourth Tuesday of each month at 4 and 7. And an added note here is that when the Planning Commission takes on ARC duties, these meetings might run a little bit longer into the evening.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. My wife recently retired. She was the superintendent of schools at the Diocese of Monterey. So she's home with the kids now. And so there's plenty of time.
Congrats to her, by the way.
Yeah, she was at the City Academy. She loved it.
Yeah.
And so she wanted me to convey that to you guys.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Feedback. Oh, that's me. These boards and commissions often bring together residents with different viewpoints. Can you share how you approach collaboration and respectful discussion when opinions differ?
I think it helps that I don't have strong opinions or a specific agenda that I'm trying to accomplish. So most of the time, I'm very open to what other people's opinions are, and I try to incorporate them into whatever I believe the consensus is, balanced against what I think is the right thing to do, and with proper application of the law. So many of these commissions are about how does the current fact set apply to the rules that are in place, and how to properly apply policy and, when available, discretion. But a lot of the times when it comes to these regulatory regimes, there's not a ton of discretion available. So in those limited times, I would just listen to everyone that's there.
Okay.
What unique perspectives, skills, or experiences do you think you would bring to this committee, the Planning Commission, and what would you hope to accomplish during your term if appointed?
I'll start with the second question first. Broadly, my hope is to promote stability. And so I guess, how do I think about this? You know, I graduated from Berkeley at 19 with a degree in economics, 3 corporate jobs. After that, went to law school at Santa Clara University. After that, I got home and I found that this was about 2011, 2012, teeth of the recession. And a lot of the kids that I went to high school with, maybe a couple years younger than I was, no one had jobs. It was rough. So I stood up 3 businesses, hired everybody, got them health insurance. Over the course of 4 years, wound those up and then wound those down as they were able to transition in the workforce as the economy improved. But that experience really shaped, I guess, how I see this and why I'd want to participate. You probably have maybe $2 to $3 billion of GDP that flows through the city, and keeping that growing at a steady pace with good policy really does affect lives. So that's kind of what motivates me. So yeah.
Okay. Do you have any things? Okay. So thank you for your time and for your interest in serving the city of Monterey. We truly appreciate the effort you've made to be here and your willingness to contribute to the community. City staff will be following up with you after we complete all the interviews. Our plan is to announce the appointments and selections at the November 18th City Council meeting. So thank you again and wishing you the best.
Thanks. Hey, good to see you.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah. Take care.
See you. Bye.
Down to 3. Man, I cannot shake these hiccups. I don't even know. Isn't it usually like when you eat too fast or something? Like, I haven't consumed anything, so.
Figured them out. Water upside down, but I don't. That'll work.
Watch you make a mess of myself. I know. Ah!
Yeah, and it was good. It was good. I saw you last night. I didn't get to say hi, but
back really far. Yeah, you were leaving and I was coming in. pretty much.
yeah. So these are the questions here. So if you want to follow along with those, but I will go ahead and kick us off. So good morning for another half hour and welcome. Thank you for being here today and for your interest in serving the community through one of the city's boards, commissions, or committees. I'm Mayor Williamson and I'm joined today by Vice Mayor Garcia. We truly appreciate the time and thought you've put into applying and your willingness to contribute to the civic life of Monterey. This is a public meeting and we'll be conducting brief interviews with each applicant. Each interview will last about 15 minutes and we have 6 questions we'd like to ask to help you stay on schedule and make sure we cover everything. We'd appreciate if you keep your responses succinct and focused. And with that, let's go ahead and get started.
All right, first question. Good morning again.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here. How did you first hear about this opportunity and why do you think you should be chosen to serve on any of the committees that you selected?
Thank you. I was just going to ask for clarification on that. I heard of the opportunity, well, through friends and everybody in the community, but the website was great just to see what was open and when things closed. And I believe that I would be good to serve on the committees that I applied for. I live in Deer Flats, so NCIP Deer Flats makes a lot of sense. And we know there's been shuffle with the current NCIP members there. So Dave Overland would actually like to step back into the alternate position and they don't have anybody else interested who's in the actual proper HOA to serve as a primary. So I would love to step into that position. Also to have somebody who's not in the HOA but lives on Jocelyn Canyon would be magical because nobody understands that we actually live up there. And it's really been a struggle. So that would be for NCIP. For PNS, same thing. I'm, really interested to make sure that our streets are safe and that we're not driving through potholes and having to pay repair costs and that we're being good stewardships of the money that we receive for our bonds. And to see those continued would really be important for our city. And for museum and cultural, that one, I can't say I have like a degree in art or anything, but we have such big cultural diversity and richness in our city that I appreciate, especially being a native Californian. And I've not been to all of the museums yet. I'm still getting into them, but I absolutely adore it. And I really cherish what we have here. So I think that my passion for all 3 of those committees would really be beneficial.
Awesome. I'll take the next question. Can you share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? What did you learn from it? And how might that experience shape your approach if selected?
Wow, that's a loaded question. So I've been volunteering for, 20 years in all different capacities. I have served on an HOA committee, which I know is different than NCIP, but it's still dealing with the same types of structure and input, disagreements, agreements, discord, and how do we make things better. So I've been through all of that and having to read budgets and understand how to be responsible with the funds that we have. That would be one way. Another way would be all of my scouting experience. I had to train leaders. I had to train boys, eventually girls, but I didn't get that far. And, finding differences of opinion and really getting people to come together. We always have to find, as you know, the common line and bring them together. So I think overall that's been my experience and how I can help.
For any of the committees that you selected, have you attended any of the meetings?
Yes, I have attended NCIP meetings. I have attended the Measure PNS Oversight Committee meeting. I have not attended the Museum and Cultural.
What and you can select one committee or more than one. What stood out to you about their discussions or the way that they operate?
I think the PNS Oversight Committee was very interesting just to see the amount of history that our committee members hold and how much knowledge they have and how quickly they can recall that knowledge and have really good, rich discussions about it. So also the fact that the people who sit on committees don't always know everything about what their mission is. So in the particular meeting that I sat in on, they weren't aware of the locations of the streets that hadn't quite been done yet, or the fact that where I live on Jocelyn Canyon, it's a patchwork of county and city and trying to get the two to work together is a challenge. So bringing that type of insight in would be helpful. But that's how the committee meetings went. So
Oh, there's another part to this. Oh, actually, no, I did cover it.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, thanks.
did you have any follow-up question on that one?
Yeah, no, I was looked in the wrong area.
Sorry, I'm just taking my notes real quick for transition.
For the record, the mayor types 75 words a minute.
It's actually pretty close, actually, what I do. About 82.
That was good for just ear.
Oh, I need to turn my mic on. Each board or commission has regular meetings scheduled. Does your schedule allow you to commit to attending these meetings consistently? So for the Monterey Cultural Arts Commission, it's the first Thursday of each month at 4. For the Measure P, Measure S, it's as scheduled. And for NCIP, it's as scheduled as well.
Yes.
Okay. Perfect. That's it for that one.
So these boards and commissions often bring together residents with different viewpoints. Can you share how you approach collaboration and respectful discussion when opinions differ?
When we have discussions and we have different opinions, like we often do, finding a middle ground or a common ground is always a good starting point because we can agree on one thing. From my past experience, having worked in law, briefed courts, briefed judges, mediators, and arbitrators, we would have a list of undisputed facts. And I think that's always a good starting point. If we can agree on these facts, then we can talk about these opinions and apply it to the situation. So bringing people together on what the actual facts are versus what the opinions are, and then moving forward a little bit at a time, getting that agreement and moving forward. Also asking succinct questions and sometimes taking it back to something very basic that perhaps people don't have a full understanding of is very helpful. Looking to where the void is in the argument.
Okay, last question. What unique perspectives, skills, or experiences do you think you would bring to this committee? What would you hope to accomplish during your term if appointed?
I'm answering for 3 different committees, right? So a unique person, I didn't see that question. Oh, the number 6, what unique, okay. Well, I have a very broad and vast experience, education, and training and personal knowledge. So I bring all of that in, despite what I may look like. I am actually much older. So I have decades of experience, different jobs, different topics. And that really is what I can bring. I'm not just focused on one thing. I'm not pigeonholed into one topic. I have worked in everything from streets to different insurance claims. So I understand the art side and the cultural side and how we have to protect, these things. But really it's just the vast amount of overall experience. So it would have to be a little more specific if you wanted to discuss that. We could, and I know you have to keep to your questions. But with PNS, it's having handled auto insurance claims, both personal injury and property. Also knowing how those claims can affect the city of Monterey if property is damaged, and we have to negotiate those. With the NCIP, it comes into the same thing, looking around the city, understanding that there are needs and there are wants, and how do we best spend our money and when. And then again, with cultural arts, it's just appreciating everything that we have and making sure that we protect it and that we share it with the people who need to come see it. And what would I hope to accomplish? I would hope to continue whatever the missions have been of those committees and helping them to get to where they want to be in the future. So without specific knowledge and specifically something to talk about right now, I could tell you overall that would be it. So continuing what they've already started, certainly not recreating the wheel.
I think that's back to you.
Yep. Any other questions?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. And so I don't have any other questions either. So thank you again for taking the time and the interest in serving the city of Monterey. We truly appreciate the effort you've made to be here and your willingness to contribute to our community. Staff will be following up with you after we complete all the interviews, and our plan is to announce the appointments and selections at the November 18th council meeting. So thank you again, and we wish you the best.
Fantastic. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Your hands are nice and warm too.
The heater.
The hot seat.
Oh, bye.
All righty.
You have time?
We do. It's good to see you. Thank you for that.
On at 12:30 here and then you look at everything else.
No, we apologize
When I
for the
down-
occasion. I'm glad you're able to make it work.
Downloaded the appointment from Google.
Yeah,
It automatically populates
Oh,
my
yeah,
phone. So
yeah.
somehow that.
okay.
Who knows? Who
This
knows?
is what happens.
Nice
when
to
we-
meet you. I'm Sid.
I know
Pleasure.
technology, right?
Yes, better living through technology.
Glad that you were ready to go though.
Oh,
So
like I said, I was just waiting. You know, I had my timer on my watch so that I could get out
Get
the
ready.
door on time, you know?
yeah, yeah. Well, I will pass it to Councilmember Garcia, to kick us off here.
Sounds good. Thank you. So thank you again for being here. Good morning. And thank you for your interest in serving our community through one of the City of Monterey's boards, commissions, and committees. My name is Gino Garcia. I'm Vice Mayor, and I'm here with Tyler Williamson, our Mayor. And we truly appreciate the time and thought you've put into applying and your willingness to contribute to the civic life of Monterey. So this is a public meeting and we'll be conducting brief interviews with each applicant. Each interview will last about 15 minutes and we have 6 questions we'd like to ask. To help us stay on schedule and make sure we cover everything, we'd appreciate it if you could keep your responses succinct and focused. With that, I'll pass it over to the mayor.
Okay, so first question, did you first hear about this volunteer opportunity and why did you think you should be chosen to serve on this committee? Or continue serving?
Yeah, continue to serve. How did I first hear? I think it was just being involved, Sandy being involved with the ARC and having past work with recreation as a child. And so just applied. This was right before the pandemic. So my timing was impeccable. So really didn't even meet any of the members until then, but it was clear that this was where my strengths lie. And I've really enjoyed it quite a bit. Just July was the last meeting I chaired. So I'm now just a member.
Yeah, I love it.
Can you share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? What did you learn from it? And how might that experience shape your approach if selected?
Too many to count. One volunteer experience. I have also volunteered to be on the board at CSUMB's foundation. And that came through being involved with the campus and donations to a scholarship that's in my mother's honor. And very rewarding, to be able to meet the people that you volunteered to help. And that actually was after this. So I would say this was the volunteer experience that prompted me to go to CSUMB. Volunteered for other social things, but really nothing of any import until I did this. And I love it. Absolutely love it. I really enjoy understanding what shapes the budget, what shapes the decisions that are made as to where the resources go. And it's been an education. I mean, the first year was a learning curve like that. And so I really enjoyed it. I can't think of anything better to do for the city.
Love it. Okay, have you ever attended any of the meetings for the board, commissioner, committee? And I know the answer is yes. So what stood out to you about their discussions or the way that they operate?
I think the thing that's been most impressive, and I'm not just saying this was really quite a revelation, is the amount of preparation that the staff goes through to get these meetings not only started, but rolling and covering everything, but not just the staff that's in the background, but the Parks and Recreation, the 4 people that really run the operation. Highly impressed. I mean, when you consider, Monterey is not a large metropolis, and yet the quality of the people that were running the programs is exceptional.
Mhm.
And I have really enjoyed getting to know them. I'm sorry Karen has retired, but I'm happy as heck for her. But I think I'm excited to see what the new guy is, what he's going to do. And I think that they have done an excellent job in realizing where the growth is in the city as far as the population and how to address their needs and fill them. They've done and with very limited resources. That's the thing that's been so amazing to me is that they've really had to cut back in staff and they have just continued to outperform. Very impressed with that.
Love it.
So, you're familiar with the regular meeting schedule,
Mhm.
any conflicts that you would anticipate moving forward if selected?
No, I've arranged my schedule so that I'm available. And many times in the year that I was the vice chair, I was actually chairing because the chair had to leave for emergency reasons. And so in effect, I was chair for well over a year. And I prefer to be present, I'd rather not do the Zoom. I know that some people prefer the Zoom, but I get a lot more out of being present for the meetings. So I think I have missed one and that was because of vacation.
You deserve a vacation too. These boards and commissions often bring together residents with different viewpoints. Can you share how you approach collaboration and respectful discussion when opinions differ?
I would say the committees as well as the city council had really been dominated by Monterey Vista. And so that kind of left out an entire world of Monterey. And I think we have done a pretty good job in getting more people from those areas so that we can collaborate as a commission. And I really, that's because of Karen and Shannon, to be honest. And I think they have done a superb job in bringing in other interests that may not have been known before. And it's been an education for me since I live in Monterey Vista. So they've opened up my eyes as to the different neighborhoods and their needs. And I think it's been I think we're making a lot of progress in that direction, but it's really because of Karen and Shannon and the others that are involved. Can't learn unless you hear a different perspective.
Yeah.
So, touching on perspectives, what unique perspective, skill, or experience do you think you would bring to the committee? And what would you hope to accomplish during your term if appointed?
Different perspective. Well, I'm old. Nobody else there may be one other person on the panel that's the same age. So I'm clearly very interested in what they're doing at the senior center. But I'm also, my focus has always been when we're doing something to increase fees, wherever it is, what are we doing to make sure that the families can afford it and that they're not priced out of participation in our parks and recreation. And that I've been consistent in that, and I don't think anyone else has really brought that up from the commission. That's important because as a kid, we didn't belong to a country club. I was reliant on recreation. And so I think that's vital to the families here. And so many of the families here are, yes, maybe they're here for 3 years and out, but I still think that their needs need to be addressed. So I have a tendency, my perspective has a tendency to be looking at from the alternative side. And that has to do with my educational background. And so when there is a consensus on something, I like to see what's the alternative to that consensus. And is there someone that's not being heard? So I think that's probably what I bring and what I will continue to bring to the commission.
Alrighty. Well, thank you very much for your time and your interest in serving the city of Monterey. We truly appreciate the efforts that you've made to be here and your willingness to contribute to the community. City staff will be following up with you after the completion of all of our interviews. Our plan is to announce the appointments and selections at the November 18th City Council meeting. So thanks again.
You bet.
All the best.
Sorry I was late.
No, no, you're well. You did great. So thank you.
See you.
It's good to see you always.
I'm older than you.
Well,
Throw down. It's your birthday.
December 29th.
Which year?
1957.
Oh. I'm 50. I was born in 53.
Oh.
I'm turning 72. Yeah.
Wow.
See, she doesn't act like
Exactly, exactly.
So I was like 13.
You're my friend.
Quick as you're willing to and
Yes,
make
the
sure you
answer
can get
is
there.
yes, and I love it. And I bring historic perspective and old folk skill.
I love it.
So there we go. That was probably about it. Yeah.
Well, good morning for 5 more minutes and welcome. Thank you for being here today and for your interest in serving the community through one of our city's boards, commissions, or committees. Mayor Williamson here, joined by Vice Mayor Garcia. We truly appreciate the time and thought you've put into applying and your willingness to contribute to the civic life of Monterey.
Yes.
This is a public meeting and we'll be conducting brief interviews with each applicant. Each interview will last about 15 minutes and we have 6 questions we'd like to ask to help us stay on schedule and make sure we cover everything. We'd appreciate if you keep your responses succinct and focused. And with that, let's go ahead and get started.
All right, thank you and good morning. Thank
Good
you for
morning.
being here again. Actually, let me skip the first half of that question. What do you think you should be chosen to serve on the committee once again?
Well, we've had a change. Karen Larson is now retired and we have a new director of Parks and Rec. And he's from out of town and I've been doing this a long time and honestly, I can't remember how many years, but I think I do have a little historic perspective to bring. And, and I love doing it and I love being able to contribute to the community and at least from my vantage point, it's a way I can give back a little bit because I love this city and I love the sports center and, it's just great what Parks and Rec does. So it's a lot for me, but I can give a little something back to the city too.
Next question is to me. Can you share one volunteer experience and how it affected you? What did you learn from it and how might that experience shape your approach if selected?
Oh, boy. Well, I'm a retired doc. And so I've done a lot of volunteering for the underserved, in Guatemala and then locally too. And just being able to help somebody sort through whatever it is a little bit, is so gratifying. And, Parks and Rec serves in a different way. It's not the medical expertise and it's kind of nice not to have that responsibility, but it's in providing the building blocks to good health and good, community spirit. And so parents, ooh, ghosts.
It is Halloween.
Yeah, scary. Anyway, so parents can feel confident that their kids are, that they're helping to raise good kids that will be part of the community with good leadership skills and cooperative skills and not just Facebook skills. So that's, I think, what Parks and Rec is all about.
what has stood out to you about the board's discussions or the way that they operate?
Well, I'm with Sid on this. The Parks and Rec folk, Shannon and of course Karen, but everybody in it worked so hard. And boy, did they pivot when COVID hit. They went from, lots of staff to almost zero, but then they made sure that people were fed. It just almost brought tears to my eyes to think of the level of commitment and outreach and the need that was met. And I love them so much for how they thought to address everybody in the city, to making sure that nobody was hungry or, in a bad way during that time. So I really respect their humanity.
Each board or commission has a regular meeting schedule. Does your schedule allow you to commit to continue attending these meetings consistently?
Yes, I am a retired person and proud of it. So I can make it happen.
So if you would share these boards and commissions often bring together residents with different viewpoints. How would you approach collaboration and respectful discussion when opinions differ?
Well, you have to respect everybody's opinion, because that's what we do as human beings. But I think sometimes one can offer guidance. When people come to the podium to speak, I think respectful listening is the very first step. And then discussion about the aspects of that might be valid is good too. But you can't cave into everything, because some things work for the city better than others, like the old Capitol site. We just couldn't, there was no way on earth we could turn that into a pump track for the cyclists. We have endangered species we needed to protect, and it's a very small space. So I think ultimately they understood that. But to me, that was really difficult because the opinions were so divergent. We also had a lot of different opinions about pickleball versus tennis. They came to blows one day, the pickleball and tennis people. They put up their fists and hit each other. So we ended up having mediation through the mediation center, wherever that is. And that worked out splendidly. So, there's a way around almost everything. If you can make peace with pickleballers and tennis people, I think there's hope for the world,
Put that on your resume.
Yeah, that's right.
Was that question 5? Okay, and so 6 is, what unique perspective, skills, or experiences do you think you would bring to this committee? What would you hope to accomplish during your term if appointed?
Well, I'd like to make sure that Parks and Rec stays the course, that it continues to be the wonderful branch of city that it has been in looking out for everybody, with all the different needs everybody has. And, we'll see what the new fellow is like. And, if he needs a little encouragement one way or another, I feel that's going to be my job.
All right, thank you. I don't have any more questions. All right,
Okay.
so thank you again for
My pleasure.
your time and your interest in serving our awesome city. We truly appreciate the effort you've made to be here and your willingness to contribute to our community. So staff will be following up with you after we complete all the interviews, and our plan is to announce the appointments and selections at the November 18th City Council meeting. So
Okay.
thank you again, and we wish you the best.
Awesome. Thank you.
Good to see you
always.
Chair.
Too.
I'm almost killing myself there. All right. Thanks.
We don't need that.
No. All righty.
Bye, Ellen.
Bye-bye.
Seeing you.
See you from the front.
Okay, and with that, we'll go ahead and adjourn. Thank you, everybody.